Who is the quarterback who is just one quarterback better than Jared Goff?
Well, that would be Tua. Okay. Hello, Tua and welcome to the countdown. All right.
29.
Tua Tagovailoa at number 29. I still don't know if I say his last name the right way.
I think it's
Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa, like a tongue.
Tagovailoa. I know. I feel bad. It's just, I need to actually practice that one a little bit.
If you're gonna disparage the man multiple times, at least get his name right.
All right, I will. I'm going to work on that. I am. I chicken out with his name all the time.
So does everyone. Tua.
Yes, I know. That's why I said Tua to do it. All right, so Tua. Let's hit the positives first, okay? Like, hey, the one thing going back and watching Tua, first off, he's slick. All right. Yeah, obviously he's at 29. I still have questions. I do.
As high as you've ever ranked him,
He's as high as I've ever seen him. I put him on this list, definitely. No doubt. Again, there's things to like, certainly. Do I have questions? Yes, we'll get into that in a few minutes. But as far as like the positives are, hey, he's got charisma and some leadership. There's no doubt about that. There's something about him on the football field. He is a very good athlete. He is. The way he can kind of hop around the pocket and move there, I don't think I quite give it as much credit as I should at times when I went back and watched it. Of course, on the move, he can throw the ball on the run. He's slick with his different releases. He's slick with the ball. He's slick with the ball in all ways, except he just does not have a strong arm. He can't throw with any power, really. So, but as far as sidearm, flicking it, oh no, somebody's in my face, I got to flick it and touch it over a guy and throw it 20 yards down the field. He can do all that. Be in an awkward position, still gear it up and throw the ball and get it out in some weird angle or hole or alley to throw the football. So he is very good at that. He has accuracy. He does show the ability to throw with very good touch and timing. One of the things we showed on Pro Football Talk today is a little bit like his go routes, his fades out the sidelines. He throws a pretty fade ball. He can drop it in the bucket or, oh, wait, the guy's playing in front of him. Let me just throw a soft back shoulder and change the ball a little bit. He's very good at stuff like that. There's no doubt. And then, of course, he can run and scramble and get you 10, 15, 20 yards. He can. But as we know, there's some other issues here too. First is, there's a lot of big-time throws and yards left on the field on a consistent basis with Tua because, one, they can't call it, or two, he turns it down. And that's the one thing you see as you watch film from him, especially last year. The lack of outside-the-number throws is pretty eye-popping. Right. And they're not doing it because they're going, wait, we want to throw it here. They're doing it because we can't trust him to get enough on the ball and make the right ball throw out there. He doesn't have enough arm. So they had to construct things that fit him, around the middle of the field. So, again, they're having to bend the offense in the way you want to attack because there is a limit a little bit from your quarterback. And that's why we're talking about 29 here a little.
So those are, if you're watching on Peacock or YouTube, you see his stats from last year. Completion percentage was quite high, 7th best in the NFL, but as Chris
but look at the rest of it.
Is want to point out, it's shorter passes, 27th in the NFL in yards per game, 23rd in passing yards per attempt, and so
I got to think intended air yards. Maybe Pete can look that up while we talk. You do see?
He was just barely ahead of
Goff.
I
would think so. And again, I don't look any of these up. I'm just telling. I go by what I know and see. You know me. But yes, that was what my eye would tell you. It didn't become an actual thing from guys like Logan Ryan,
right?
Because they were just decided to pile on. They're watching film too, going, "Damn, here's another 3-yard pass. Here's another 3-yard pass."
So this is what you're talking about too. Passes of 20 or more yards downfield. He had only 7% of the time was he doing that. That NFL rank was 34th.
Yep.
So there were 33 other quarterbacks that had a higher percentage of passes deep downfield. Completion percentage was good.
Yeah, you see it.
But just didn't do it very often.
Doesn't do it very often, right? And again, that the completion percentage, the ones we're talking about there, I think are what we're talking about too. Again, a lot of the fade jump balls down the sideline,
right?
50, which is great. I'm okay with that. But hey, context matters. We need someone more of the he's 25 yards, screaming across the middle of the field, and there's a tight window, and you need to throw the laser in there. We got to get it in there.
Well, that's something too. That was interesting. He threw into a tight window more than any other quarterback last year.
That's interesting.
19.3% of the time.
Sure. Okay, that's interesting.
So that's
but again, that's where I would love to break that down. The context is going to matter too. Now, again, when you're throwing balls 4 yards over the middle, guess what? The windows are going to be tight.
Yes.
There's linebackers and safeties there, but that doesn't speak to a bad thing. That speaks to, hey, like I talked about, he can get the ball out of his hands quickly.
Sure.
He has a good release. He does have the ability, like we've talked about, to really throw the ball from a lot of different arm angles, which, helps him with his lack of arm strength and stuff.
Yeah.
But staying healthy, playing in the pocket, when the pocket against good defenses, when pocket collapses, Buffalo up in Buffalo, Tennessee, he plays small. And he plays small and he makes bad decisions because the pocket is collapsing on him and he is small and he misses people, not only just with the throws themselves because of the size, but also because he can't see people at times too. There is that. He's not the greatest at being able to throw and go, oh, someone's going to hit me. I need to make a big throw here to do that. No, because of the lack of power on the ball and the fact that he doesn't spin it necessarily real hard, he can't cut it through the wind in places like Buffalo and things like that scare me a little bit.
Sure.
So, again, I know everybody thinks I'm a hater on the guy, and I'm not. I'm just a hater on Tua and on, all right? But
Pete tried to throw me in there because I cited
did.
that stat about throwing into tight windows.
No, this is good. I like to keep it real with that stuff. I'm glad you're doing that.
Counterpunch.
Yes.
So the quarterback coach there now is Darrell Bevel.
Yeah.
And he said this in a quote to the press.
Right.
They quoted him. We'll be able to do whatever we want to do. There's not really any throw he can't make. Did he lie to us?
Well, no, he didn't lie to you. He can make every throw. Is it going to be a good enough throw, though, you're going to call that play on 3rd and 12 in the biggest moment of the year where you're going to go, you know that 20-yard out route that's been open all game? We're going to call it. We know he can make the throw, but now he's going to make the throw at like a really high level in a big moment. And that's why he was drafted at number 5. That's great, Darrell Bevel, that he can make the throw on 7-on-7 in the springtime. That's great. But, yes, I understand. What else is he supposed to say, Darrell Bevel? I get that. But, again, that's where I go back into. I think that's why Mike McDaniel's there. I think it's a great fit that way, too, for Tua and Mike McDaniel. I think what Mike McDaniel wants to do, Tua does fit that. He's a wheeler and dealer, like a Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, that way. So I could see that. Plus, he's going to be better at movement, and they have 2 guys with multiple rockets up their ass, and Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
That'll be what's interesting, and that's not part of your evaluation here in your top 40, but his teammates around him, those wide receivers, they're weapons right now.
Yeah.
And, in fact, the Dolphins tweeted a picture from one of the training camps or the mini camps where Tua was hooking up with Tyreek Hill. I don't believe that this tweet, though, had the affected intent.
Well, that had the negative effect
because he threw it, and you can see that Tyreek Hill is waiting for it as though it was a punt.
Right. Well, and then you see that, yes, and it became a big thing, which it got overblown, right? It did. Even speaking to this, again, I'm not going to dissect this too much, but you see, like, the ball doesn't spin a ton there, right? I think if we watch some of the other elite quarterbacks in football, you'd go, whoa, that ball is really spinning, and it's tight and perfect. What I don't understand is, like, Tyreek Hill addresses it a week later. Right, on social media.
He did?
Like,
what did he say?
He kind of basically was like, it's practice, relax. And then they put out a highlight reel of him throwing good throws. And I want to they're listening to the noise there. And that means Tua's listening to the noise.
You're right.
So why are you justifying like Joe the Plumber's thoughts on Twitter? That was your fault. That shows me you're a little insecure and you're worried about it too, Miami.
Whoever posted that video for the Dolphins, they're not feeling great right now.
Well, I know, and again, that's it's not their fault.
Yeah.
It's not their fault.
I hope they're not fired.
They're not football
Pete goes, they're
evaluators.
fired. I hope they're not fired, but yeah, I think it was kind of a fun. He was like, "Oh, I got the football the whole way. I'm going to use that one." Yeah, but Tyreek will help production-wise.
Tyreek Hill, they have the perfect formula for him.
Because I was looking at yards after catch last season, and which quarterback do you think in the NFL led the entire NFL in yak from the receivers?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that you're saying that now, I guess makes me think it's Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, right.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, he throws deep. They throw multiple ways, and they throw. I'm not trying to say it's a similar quarterback.
No, you're not.
But I'm just saying how Tyreek Hill can help.
No doubt.
Tua.
No doubt. No. Hey, listen. These are great things because this is where I love this stuff when you say stuff like that. Oh well, he's got yak, so what? He's got all this help.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But again, good. But let's put it into context here, right? I mean, yeah. Okay, Mahomes. They're good. Those guys are good and they're talented. But Mahomes is also throwing lasers into tight windows where the guy's like not stopping, breaking stride, and he's going, whoa, I'm out of here. And his throws sometimes that other quarterbacks won't make.
He's responsible
for that. Or think about how many times he's like does this, Ahmed, scrambles around in the back for 25 minutes, right? And then, okay, now everybody's downfield chasing Tyreek Hill and Kelsey and everything. And then, okay, but he's created all this space, and now he hits a dump down to Jerick McKinnon for 5 yards, and he runs 30. And you go, well, look at what he did there. But, yes, it was still created by the magic of Mahomes.
Yep.
So there's a difference there. And, so we'll see. But it is, to your point, with Tyreek and Waddle and their ability, and I think some of the moving parts that McDaniels can have before the snap, and you don't know which way the ball is going, and then how slick Tua is getting the ball and quick releases and all that, that's where it can be interesting and fun with him and Waddle, and then a big target in Gesicki going down the middle. It all fits him just right. So we'll see where it goes. They can win with Tua, a lot like the Lions can, but I think to a greater extent with the Miami Dolphins. They just can't put it all on his back and expect him to carry the team like Josh Allen.
Pete has informed me we have the video where Tyreek responded.
So here we go.
Here's the passes. Oh, that's a better spiral. In stride. What you can't tell is these receivers are only 13 yards downfield. No,
you're funny.
Those look good.
No, again, he's smooth.
Yeah, he threw 7,000 passes. They could pick 3.
And his life is gonna be, a little bit what we saw with the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
That's what they're gonna be to a degree.
It'll be fun to watch how it develops.
It'll
be fun to watch how it develops with Tua, who even at times last year, I think even the most ardent Tua believer, there were times last year where they're like, maybe he's not the guy. But who knows? Maybe he will be with the guy with these cast of
I feel like at least last year got off one thing, right? I mean, hey, we'll see where it goes with Tua. He was in a very tough situation. I don't want to take that away from him. He's in a tough situation with, are they going to trade for Deshaun Watson? Is the coaching staff really liking me? Who drafted me, who really is invested in me in this organization.
Yeah.
So that's not always easy. There's no doubt. And I was going to add something else to what you were going to say there. What did you end up saying there at the very end? What was the last thing you said?
It's been a long weekend.
I know. You can't remember either. Damn, I was going to say something else.
All right, save it for the questions next week. When Tua fills your Twitter feed with replies.
I totally lost where I was going to go there. I was going to jump off of something you just said, and I can't remember what the hell you just said.
Do you think they'll be happy with 29 or no? No, definitely not.
No, definitely. They're gonna hear it. Well, you know what's going to make it even worse is when they hear the two guys that are in front of them. That's what's going to make it worse.
Right. Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.